basketball player right away.
Right.
But are you going to kick me off the team? You're going to say, you know what, you can keep playing and keep practicing over and over and keep trying to get better and better. That's what we do with our students too, because some students can learn like boom, right away they hear it one time and they got it. Some kids need to hear it a second and a third time, and some of them don't get it on the test the first time. So that's what our philosophy is, I know for the district is, we know that some kids aren't going to get it right away, and we want to keep helping them, and that's that continuous improvement model, that we want them to continue to believe in themselves and say, you know what, if you keep working at this, you do have another chance. It's not a one shot and you're done.
Well, see, like, my concern with that though is they're not going to do that for college.
That's debatable. Some colleges I know do, some don't. But I know that's a big mind shift. I know when I was in college it was not that way.
Right, right.
But that's a big shift now in education.
And I know one thing, thankfully, you know, at least at the high school, I can only speak to the high school, but we as teachers definitely use our discretion and our professionalism to know, you know, I'm not going to let a student do makeup work that is 5 months old, you know, or 2 days before the end of the semester. I'm not going to let them do work from the first year, the first week of the year. You know, if it's within a reasonable amount of time and they legitimately, I mean, I think that all of us definitely want to give the kids the benefit of the doubt. We do, and we are not pushovers. You know, we definitely, it's not like, oh, take it 10 times, as many times as you need to. You know, normally if you didn't get it a second time, especially with a little bit extra help, you know, then this is the grade that you're going to earn, and let's just look forward to the next grade. So, you know, that too is, it fluctuates. Is there a retake policy? Definitely, you know, but please understand that we as teachers and professionals, we too don't want to bend over backward. And, well, we bend over backward for the kids to try and get them to be successful, but we're also not going to be doormats and pushovers.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Next up is middle school.
You were great last year. So
Oh,
Wake up a little bit.
you want me to do any more? I got tricks everywhere.
Good evening, everybody. Mosinee Middle School. We're excited to be able to share what the crux of what it is that we're working on for this year, and realistically, I'll talk about it in just a second, but this is not just a one-year goal for us. This is like a 3 to 5 year process of where we want to get to and what we need to do. So this is our school. These are our team leads at the middle school. In 4th grade, we have Krista Treader. 5th grade, Nick Akers. 6th grade, Justin Jacobs, who's here with us. 7th grade is Robin Shoup. In 8th grade is Ryan McCain. Our specialist is Sarah Kaiser, and our special ed rep is Megan Peeler. And we also have Paul Reichman here, our associate principal. So when we sat down in August and went through what all of the data and all the different things that we were doing, we really actually started with a video that was shown to us by the ladies from Season 9 that were here helping us out. And they said, what is your why? Not the what are you going to do, but why are you doing it? And when we asked ourselves that question, we really looked at our structure and what we're doing at our school, and we said we need to come up with a goal that's not one that's going to change every single year, but one that we can continuously work on and make our school a better place overall. So our overarching goal that we came up with is that Mosinee Middle School is focused on being responsive to student needs, monitoring student growth, and celebrating student success. Well, how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by ensuring that we're committed to clarifying and building a response to intervention process that will benefit all students. So you're going to probably hear RTI over and over and over again. And when you hear RTI, that's response to intervention. And basically what that is, it's multi-level systems of support that are in place for every single student. Not our low students, not our high students, not our middle school students. Every single student in the school should benefit from response to intervention. And so that's what we set out to do. So we have our 5 goals, and we'll share those with you.
I'm going to touch on number 1. It was during the 2017-2018 school year, Mosinee Middle School will complete a school-wide implementation review. So 100% of our middle school staff know what RTI looks like and contribute to developing the RTI framework for Mosinee Middle School. Our big thing is we were really at a point where we didn't fully, we've been talking to RTI, we've been trying to implement things with RTI, but it felt like it was a lot of, okay, here's this, do this, and really never a full understanding of where we were at with it and make sure that we were implementing it fully and had a full understanding of it. The action steps we set forth to make sure we did that was we started with just a survey from the Wisconsin RTI Center so that we could see like what our staff thought and where we were at. You can see the data there if you want to link on it, but it's basically what things we identified as the problems with RTI or with our implementation of RTI and how we could address that, how we could fix that. As you can see, we highlighted a couple things in red there that we thought would be good focuses to keep working on following that survey. If you want to go back to the presentation. We then, as Amanda Hoppy talked about, we are also doing the district curriculum work where we're working on making sure that we have our full unit plans in place, making sure that we're developing our proper practices. We're also working on developing a new process for SST referrals to make sure that we're reaching not only our low kids but our high kids, as Josh talked about, making sure that if kids need that extra help, we have a proper plan in place, and more importantly, all of our staff knows what that process looks like. Sometimes in years past, it felt like a guessing game where we were, okay, well, we think we have to do this, and then we'd be told, no, you gotta do this, and then we try and do that and come back, and it felt like we were wasting months sometimes trying to get a kid the help they needed versus, this is what we could have done in the first place, and just try and streamline and make sure that we're getting that help right away. Developing best practices, Tier 1 universal instruction. At several of our staff meetings throughout the year, we realized we've got a lot of good staff at Mosinee Middle School. We wanted to make sure that, what are some things that we know that we're doing? So a lot of brainstorming, trying to come up with, here's some good Tier 1 instruction of things that we can all do to try and catch these kids right away before we get into that 2nd tier, 3rd tier things. So we came up with a list and identified about 10 of the things that we think are really important that we want to make sure that we're doing in all of our classrooms. So.
And then just to add to that a little bit, we leaned on our school psychs, Kelsey and Laura, to help us out with, our staff came up with the plans on the left, but then we asked Kelsey and Laura to go and align those to scientifically based learning strategies that we can use for universal instruction within our schools. So thank you to them for helping us out with that as well.
I think that's the practicality of it, right? So we're supposed to do this, okay, I get it, but what does that actually look like? So by you saying, if you do this if you do this strategy, it's gonna lead to that. So that's important work, and I think that, I'm sure that the middle school staff value that, so thank you for that.
And I think the biggest thing for us is wanting to make sure that we're all on the same
Yes.
page. Like, they're
So you
developing
all
strategies.
agree, so
Right.
that's the word universal?
Correct.
So Mosinee Middle School, universally, you go from this classroom to that classroom, we're gonna get those teaching strategies.
And the last one on there is trying to develop some more intervention time. We have a scheduling committee with about 15 staff members on it, and we're trying to work at ways that we can manipulate our schedule to make sure that we have time to work with those kids, similar to the high school does with their enrichment time and whatnot. We're trying to develop something like that at the middle school currently. So.
All right, our second goal was assessment and data use improvement, and basically what we said here is that for the 2017-18 school year, we're going to identify student learning data sources, which we're doing, a warehouse for storing student learning data and a system for analyzing student learning data so that tiered levels of intervention, going back to our focus on RTI, are used with students and they can be tracked and monitored. And what we're hoping to get out of that is that we're going to see at least a 5% decrease in student failure rates as evidenced by quarterly grades and an increase in proficiency levels on our state assessments. So we're not only looking at just forward exam data, which is kind of the big meaty thing that we have to look at every summer, but we're also looking at how we're doing within our classes quarter to quarter. Are we actually reaching students with our interventions? Are we seeing less failures within the building? And we had a number of action steps identified here as well. We're going to identify student learning data sources for each content area and grade level, and a lot of that's going into the curriculum work that we're doing throughout the entire year to each content area, putting together unit plans and course outlines with assessment data as well. We're going to determine how student learning data can be housed in Skyward, and this is a piece that's kind of tied to our RTI initiative as well. We already use Skyward as a student management system, and Skyward also has an RTI component that we have asked our tech team to look into how we can utilize that so that we can actually track our interventions that we give to our students, whether it's a tier 1, a tier 2, or a tier 3 intervention. And how do we monitor that from a kid that starts with us in 4th grade all the way through 8th grade. And we're going to hopefully be able to use Skyward by the end of this year, potentially at the beginning of next year if we can't get it by the end of this year. Build tiered levels of intervention in Skyward, that's another piece that's coming, and create a framework to consistently analyze student learning data. Training on data gathering and analyzation. One of the big areas that we found that we really need to focus on at the middle school is training our people how to pull data out and what to do with that data when we get it. Because you can collect all kinds of different things, but if you don't know how to actually use it to make a change, then that's a problem. So we've actually focused a lot of our team meetings on how do we analyze the data. And then just identifying research-based tools for use as a universal screener and progress monitoring. That's also work that we're doing with our RTI team. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but we're really excited about the potential for a universal screener that we can use really K-8 in our district so that we can get some longitudinal data that will show us how well kids are improving, and also it will act as a progress monitoring tool.
Okay, bottom line, what does a universal screener do? Like, just what does it do?
What does it do? It tells us where the kids are when they come in and where they are when they leave. And it allows us, what we're looking for when I say progress monitoring, it means that we can actually track them across that from the beginning to the end as well. Does that make sense? Okay, sorry, I should have started with that. A lot of big words, I apologize.
Goal 3 was our school environment improvement goal. So this year we decided to improve in behavior, discipline, communication, collaboration, and climate and culture. So with the first one with behavior and discipline, with the implementation of PBIS, we were expecting to increase by 15%, evidenced by our school perception survey. And the second one for communication and collaboration between all staff for successful implementation of our RTI by 10%, as evidenced by our RTI survey data. And then the last one with climate and culture, we're looking at, again, increasing by 10% using that school perception survey to track where we are. Some of our action steps, so the first one, staff development, an initiative to build relationships. Actually, the ones that we gave for examples are really good ones. Our staff proud slips, that actually not only, we do proud slips for our students, and then they have an incentive of something that they earn with us for things that they're going above and beyond. But we also decided to acknowledge our teachers that are also doing the same thing. It kind of goes with our roses and radishes. The guys implemented during our staff meetings to recognize those that are doing really good things that we may not always know about. And the radish part is kind of our funny, silly little moments that we think
I get a lot of radishes.
Yeah.
I don't quite know how to take that. So.
And then as for leaders, Josh has led us in a book study this year, more emphasis on leadership, some team building activities, mentor programs for assistants, PBIS Tier 1, and actually getting that in. And we're actually at the point of Tier 2 with some tools for our student behavior. We are allowing our staff to teach our students and providing cool tools, activities, and here's a video of one that we have done.
you want to talk about any other cool tools? That's just one example
Yeah,
of
so, yeah,
the
so we have like one
materials.
for the cafeteria, so just different areas around the school that we do, and we're slowly implementing them one at a time. This is the first one that we're starting with, and then it's just kind of reiterating those student behaviors, throughout our school environment.
And thanks to Diane for getting the bus over.
Yeah.
During the middle of the day.
He was
So we
doing
can
that
do that.
during a driver evaluation, so.
The last one on there is to develop a committee for our RTI initiative, and so we actually did form a committee with 7 people on it, including myself. We also included both Kelsey and Laura as our school psychs to be on that team, and we are actually going to a workshop. We just finished, actually today, we were in Kimberly for our 5th of 6 workshops on the RTI initiative that we're doing. And one of the big things that we came up with for improving our school is non-negotiables that we believe that should be out there for every student, and I apologize they weren't linked there, but we came up with 10 of them. And realistically, these are things that we're sharing with our whole staff, and our whole staff believe that these things need to be in place in order for RTI to be effective. All students benefit from RTI, and that means all students, not just the bottom, the top, or the middle, every single kid. All teaching staff actively involved in RTI. Utilize a universal screener that's valid, reliable, and monitors growth and achievement. Utilize research and data-driven approaches to learning. Provide solid Tier 1 universal instruction. Provide a safe environment for learning. Provide professional development to all staff. Provide intervention as a scheduled part of the day for all students. Provide Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions and progress monitoring with fidelity, and consistently monitor and evaluate the RTI program. So those 10 things really are the work that we're doing and moving forward, that we say those things have to be in place in order for us to actually come back to you and say, our goal has been achieved. So it's going to take some time to do that, but that's one of the things that we're continuing to work on.
How big is your team?
7 people on that team, but we bring that information back and work with the whole staff. So really the whole 7 people are doing the legwork right now to bring it back to the rest of the staff.
All right. I get number 4, it has to do with strategic family community engagement, and it's our improvement goal. And this one is, it's kind of an easy goal, and it's the reason kind of why we're all here in Mosinee is because number 1, we believe in our community, number 2, we believe in our school, and we believe in our families, and we believe in our kids, and we know that it takes that whole team to put it together, so it's a pretty important goal, but it's nice being in a small town where we can take care of that. For the 2017, 2018, we'll just skip that. No, you're all right.
You touched on it.
All right.
Go with that.
All right. So our action steps that we started this year is we believed we had a theme for the year, and our theme was Choose Kind. And that Choose Kind theme was developed with a partnership with the Forrest Gage Foundation. And what we did is we gave every one of our students the book Wonder, because we believed that it would help change our environment of our school and make it more positive, and it definitely has. You know, and staff, a lot of the administrative staff out here read it. Lamers, some of the staff there read the book as well. So, you know, and it was given to a lot of our business leaders here in the community as well. So hoping that, you know, we would get a buy-in. It focused a lot on family involvement at home, and I know that probably many parents here probably had a conversation at some point about the book or the movie with their child, which is what we're really looking for. So we have some news coverage that happened a couple months after the video, but our kids still referred back to what happened and to the book and what went on. So we also had, through our guidance counselors and through their committees, we had a Cool to Be Kind week, which was a piggyback off of it because we don't believe in being a one-hit wonder, so we wanted to keep it rolling. And so we had Cool to Be Kind. Mr. Greminger talked about it a little bit. There was a lot of community involvement there because our students went door to door to the many businesses with posters. We've got some community support as well towards it, so it was out there as well, letting our community know that this is one of our key values that we have for our students. We're always striving to improve on our communication with our parents and with the community as well, whether it's Skyward email, Facebook, using those social media tools, monthly newsletters now, the remind texts for, you know, very simple things that are coming up in our school. And lastly, Marathon County has made a great push with developing a mental health team. And we all have staff that are present on that team to help support our students.
And the final goal that we had was for professional learning, and basically what we're saying is that we want to continue working on this RTI, so we said that all staff will be supported through resources, collaboration, and coaching so that our universal instruction improves and delivery of our tiered levels of intervention for students improves, as evidenced by 95% of our staff successfully achieving their professional practice goals. So as part of educator effectiveness, every staff member has to set a professional practice goal, and so we obviously want everybody to achieve them, but we also want people to set these goals fairly lofty, so we know that maybe not everybody's going to achieve them, but they're all going to show progress towards them. And some of the things that we did, I already touched on with the creation of our RTI team, providing full staff professional developments in universal classroom instruction strategies, some of the things that we've done to look at what we already do as far as universal instruction and how we can make that better. And then obviously just monitoring professional practice goals towards the RTI initiative. And we asked a number of staff members to tie their professional practice goals back to our overarching goal, which is to have and define a strong RTI system at the middle school. So those are our goals, and we set them lofty, and we set them as something that we can continuously work on over the next couple of years. It really is going to be our key focus moving forward for the foreseeable future, is to try and get a strong RTI system in our school and then branch out. Any questions?
Thanks.
Thanks.
Elementary school.
Come on.
Hey, good evening, everyone. With me today I have our team leader in 3rd grade, Amanda Lane, Jeff Soderberg, AP, Donna Nelson, team leader in kindergarten, Katie Craig, 4K team leader. I also have Liz Perkins sitting out in the audience to support. She's new team leader for us, so she's gonna see what we do here, and then she's gonna join us next time. So, just like Josh and Nate, we all have goals that we work on every single day throughout the year. We have continued with the reading goal at the elementary school, but for us it starts with those people behind the scenes, which Ann alluded to before. It's the staff that are doing the work. So I just want to, and if you haven't noticed in the past 3 years, I really like pictures, and my staff knows this too, so I just really enjoy photos. So our awesome kindergarten team, and we do have 7 teachers this year because we had a large number of kindergartners coming in to us, so Mary Jo in the center is new to that team. 1st grade, we had a couple new faces. Over on the right-hand side of the screen, you have Katie Ripp in the back and then Haley Himes, which are new to our 1st grade team. 2nd grade, right there, we have new Mrs. Belandis. She's kind of hiding out in the back there. Amber Garber was doing a session with them, so she's in that picture. And 3rd grade, they're having a meeting, so we have a lot of staff in this picture as well. Amanda, her team has a lot of support with special education. Amber's there, we have reading teachers, Amy Jamros there, so it is all about these people that do the work. Our specialists, we have 6 specialist teachers that do rotations, so there's their team at work. A lot of other teaching staff that are helping our little ones that struggle throughout the day, helping support them behaviorally and academically, and those awesome support staff that we have. So, this is just a list of all the teams that we meet with, from early childhood teams all the way up to 3rd grade. Our specialists, we meet monthly with these people. Our 4K directors meet with us, so we're always having those meetings. As I mentioned, Liz Perkins in the audience is new to our team leadership, and Amanda Lane is new to us. The other one's Katie, Donna. Oh, Allison is new also, I apologize. She's a 1st grade team leader this year. And then Tina and Jessie.
So in the fall, or right before the fall of the year, we met as a district at a data retreat, the team leaders meet, and I'll talk specifically for elementary school, but what we do during that data retreat is we look at what, like Josh said, the universal instruction. We look at like our reading test, our math test, things like that. We take all the data and look at that and analyze it. And if you go to the next slide, I will give an example of kindergarten. So say we look at all our kindergartners and look at their reading levels, and then we see where they're at, where their reading levels, and then we'll see that maybe 87.75% of the students during the 2016-17 school year met their reading benchmark, which was they were at the end of the year grade level that we wanted them to. So then if you move on to the next part of it, we make a school improvement plan off of it.
And linked in you guys is the plan that we worked on. I don't think it's necessary that we go through that, it's kind of lengthy. But on the next slide, we have our overall school improvement plan.
So we start with our reading in elementary school, and we want to always maintain and improve. So with that in mind, we set our goals this year that kindergarten would maintain or improve an 88% level of reading benchmark. First grade students, 91%. Second grade, 88%, and third grade, 86% would meet or exceed the reading benchmark. And when we set those, we're looking at how did they achieve the year before, and what achievements, what can we do to improve that for each of those students. So it's really looking at individual student needs and the whole group, both of those at the same time.
So now that you have your data and now that you've set your school improvement plan, the next slide, we'll talk about the action steps. What are you going to do? At the grade level, we're going to make a student learning objective. Maybe mine is that 91% of our students are going to be at grade level reading. So how do we achieve that? After we review the data, that we made our plan, we have monthly meetings as Katie referenced. We also meet, like an example of one of our monthly meetings might be, is a data team meeting. So our goal is over here, we want to be here for reading, so let's see where we're at now. So we've done our Fontes Patel reading level testing, so let's sit down, the whole team, put a paper up there and put who's at level A, who's at level B, and put stickies all over, and then look at it and say, oh, these are not at grade level, what do we got to do? So then we look at, as I mentioned already, the response to intervention, the Title I reading, the level of literacy instructions, all the different things that we need. When we identify those students in need, what can we do to help? And it may not be the low end, as he said, it may be the high end, maybe we got some really high readers in kindergarten. So then we're identifying the needs and then we're going to decide how best to meet them. So if you go to the next slide, and these action steps to meet those needs, we use inclusionary practices, we meet weekly for professional development with the math coach and monthly with the literacy coach, and our regular grade level class team meetings and instructional coaches and reading and math specialists, which kind of helps us get our plan moving forward for the year.
So just like the high school, you're working on that common curriculum.
Absolutely.
And this in here, we just have our SLO added with our school goals, which she has linked in here, but we will actually talk about our goal checklist in just a little bit. And that makes for, all working together makes for a great elementary school. So we'll kind of talk about this and going forward, so you don't click on this, we'll just go forward. Yep, there you go.
This is just another slide that shows you our 17-18 reading goal for the year, but listed underneath it are the action steps from that LLI level literacy instruction to modifying our educational practices to best meet the needs of our students. This one just talks about our teachers are always assessing our students, they're looking at data, they're forming data groups, they're forming intervention groups. Action steps underneath you can see if you want to click on that, and the formative, interim, and summative assessments. It's just a list of things that the teachers are assessing our students using, what data sources we use, the type, is it summative, formative, what we do with that data, that SST meeting data that we need, the RTI groups. The next goal is a school, is that mine? Yep, mine, yours.
We have this initial stuff there, so. Oh, sorry.
Katie, Katie, call out.
The next one.
This is
Nope,
mine.
this is yours, sorry.
That's okay. School environment improvement goal, just that collaboration and communication amongst our staff, that they continue to work together to meet the needs of those students. So the team leaders are always inviting those special area teachers, like your art, your math, your special education, your reading teachers to team meetings. Identify how people want the information delivered and the frequency. They attend scheduled collaborative meetings, they follow the assessment calendar, and they reflect on those instructional practices together.
All right, the next one. Our family and community engagement goals, we put on a very successful book fair that went on after school and then with the PTO sock hop. And then we are looking forward to our family literacy night. It's actually Thursday, so it's Read Across America Week, so we are looking forward to that one.
And stop, you're all invited from 5:30 to 7:30. There's amazing artwork.
Yes,
and
it's
there's
Thursday
awesome
night.
family literacy night
Thursday
and our
night.
show, so it's very
Is
exciting.
Cat in the Hat there?
Probably.
But there's lots of great reading going on.
Yeah.
Elementary
costume.
fantastic. And then we are in the process of planning a spring bingo that we will also do, because part of our goals were to get parents involved and to make sure that they are coming to school events and having them involved in their child's education. Part of our professional learning improvement goal was just kind of, teachers are always working together and collaborating with specialists, as Katie had kind of mentioned, to promote higher level thinking. So some of our action steps were that all the grade levels are working with Leslie. They meet with her a lot, especially with the new Eureka. And then also they do meet with Amber, and they've been implementing Lucy Calkins this year. So we're just working with those specialists to implement new things.
So when we talk about health and wellness, it looks a little bit different in schools than it might somewhere else, but so we want to be supported as teachers. And so when we're supported, we have those people available to us to help us, our math coach, our literacy coordinator, helping us through our curriculum, new materials, and then we also want to celebrate all those great things that we're doing.